next to? Is he still aggressive?
Yeah, what do they call him? The con artist? I like that. I saw that, man. That's pretty good. It's a cool nickname.
Alrighty, I think we're live still, Nation. I'm pretty sure we're live. Sorry, I'm a little bit late. We're having too much fun in the green room. G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. When you guys know out there in Steelers Nation, when I need it. I think a haircut's coming next. My bad. I got myself in my headphones. Haircut's coming next. 10 people. And yeah, when I'm wearing the headphones, that means I have a special guest on, and I'm going to bring him in right now. It is Jason here from Mike Drop Sports. What's going on, mate? How are you?
Great, man. Thank you for having me. What's up, guys?
I think we're having too much. We had to start then because we're having too much fun in the green room. I think.
Yeah, good chat.
Way too much fun, and we're gonna talk the similar kind of stuff here, and then just gonna talk Steelers and whatnot and chill out. I was saying to you in the green room, like, I don't know about you, but I'm excited, but I'm kind of not excited. Do you know what I mean? I think we've been, as you know, Steeler content creators. You do stuff every single day on Mike Drop Sports. You do a live every day. You do probably more things than I do. Like you do videos, lives, you know, this, that players doing whatever. You talk football all the time. And I've been on your show once too as well. So welcome to Steeler Nation Oz. But I'm excited. And then I think it's still so far away. You know, where are you on the excited level? Is it a roller coaster from being really keen to, then we have after OTAs, then we're on a bit of a break again? Like, where are you on that level?
Yeah, it's one of those things that's such a dry news period. Yeah, no doubt about that. It's tough to just see football in shorts and a helmet. It's tough, and I get it. But I got to say, I'm really excited because you're getting to see things from a little bit. Now with Arthur Smith coming in, you're getting to see some of these new players, some of these rookies moving around. So you're getting to see that excitement build. And I think that's where I'm getting super pumped up about it. And yeah, it's tough here in this dry news period, this dry period of Pittsburgh Steelers sports, or football. But I got to say, I'm getting really pumped up. No doubt about it.
So it's apparently 99 days away from the season, which is about 3 months. But the reason why I say that is I think every time something happens, we build ourselves up for the free agent period. It goes nuts, right? Then you go and get Wilson and Fields. You're like, let's effing go. Right? Then it builds up again for the draft. You're like, let's go. The draft's so awesome. You get Fautanu as well. You get, Zach Frazier, all these dudes. Slows down. Then you go into OTAs, let's go with the guys wearing shorts and good times. But the reason why I bring this up is I did see a video with Warren and Najee Harris. And I'm like, that's the point where I'm like, let's effing go. I know people don't like Najee Harris. They do or they don't, or whatever. They want 1A, they want him to be a 2 and Warren to be number 1. Yeah. I just feel like pay them both. Pay them both, get them done, and have them there for 3 years. What are your thoughts about that? When I saw those two fellas in a clip with them just running through, getting punched with puncher bags or whatever, I was like, football is really starting to come back at this point. But it does go away for a minute. But when I see Najee Harris and I see Warren, I'm like, Warren's an awesome bloke.
Yeah,
undrafted guy. Najee Harris is I think, people may say he's not living up to his potential to be number 1 draft pick running back, but he's still getting 1,000 yards a season. He's getting thinner. He's saying the right things. He's becoming a leader in the locker room. What are your thoughts around, those two blokes in this season? Because when I see that, I start to get back on, okay, I was a bit low for a minute. I went away for a mini holiday. And now I'm like, okay, now I want to look into more things and more ideas around our Steelers.
Yeah, I'm pumped. And I think you need to have that 2-headed monster back there. And I think, like you said, pay them both. Yeah, if it financially works, get them in under the cap, get them in where it works for the team, works for both sides. Yeah, get them in there, man. But they're exciting to watch as a duo. No matter what yardage they're gaining, they're just exciting because you got the Thunder pounding them, wearing that defensive front down, and then you got Jalen that can hit a home run from anywhere. Man, I would hate to see one piece of that puzzle going away. That would suck.
I would too, actually. If I had to make a choice where it would be a hard choice, but I think if we had to keep one or the other, I would want to keep, just for me personally, Warren. I think Warren's story is great. You know,
Yeah,
I
more
do
dynamic.
love Najee Harris too. I think he's a fantastic running back. What he's done for the Steelers, people say, oh, he only gets 4.1 yards or 4.2.
Yeah.
But the way he runs the football, he takes on the big units up front. He knocks them over, stiff arms them. He's doing all the hard yards to get 5 yards. And he was in a really bad offense with Canada. So are your expectations with the Arthur Smith offense and Najee and Warren, going to improve from last year, you think?
I think so. And two, it's going to be a different run scheme. You're running now a zone run scheme as opposed to a downhill, just straight running. I'm coming at you run scheme. So in the zone run scheme, you're going to have to, be more athletic up front. You're going to have to be more athletic as a runner. You remember Le'Veon Bell? That's something similar. It's not exact, but something similar. So I'm excited for it, and I think it could work. But is Najee capable of doing that? But he lost some pounds, like you said. So, the expectations are high, in my opinion. So we'll see how it all unfolds, but it's definitely going to be something different than what we're used to seeing. And even can Jalen do that? Is that their area of expertise? That's the question mark, I think.
I was even watching the game the other day. I think it was with Russell Wilson. I was trying to watch a few Russell Wilson highlights on Denver games last year. And I was even excited because of him handing the football off as well. Like even him handing football to Najee, I think it's gonna be like crazy. What are you still in that? Like I'm still in that. Like how did Omar Khan pull this off idea? He's got the two quarterbacks from Justin Fields, which I wasn't a huge fan of, not him personally, but just the idea of getting him because I didn't think it was going to happen. Are you still in a craze like weird alternate universe of like how do we have Russell Wilson and Fields in the same offense?
I have no idea how Omar Khan does anything that he does. You got to even look at just the Patrick Queen signing. That guy was projected to be almost $20 million a year, $17.5 million a year, and you're bringing him in for $13 million a year. I mean, the dude does.
And he wants to be
shit.
there, right? Queen wants to be there. That's another thing too. Is I think looking around and maybe it's starting to ramp up for me now again because we can hear interviews, we can hear the Steelers talk, we can hear this, not this rumor. But with the Queen signing, for what I heard, and I think not Arsenal DB Steelers. If you heard that bloke on the internet, he did the big. He's the guy that breaks everything down Steelers now. I think Derek Bell is his name. He did a great interview with Queen. And he talked about, the $13 million I want to play for the Steelers. He wants to come here and be a Steeler. And now also, Patrick Queen was getting, I think, ripped on by a lot of Ravens fans saying, oh, you left us, you're terrible, you're the worst. And you went to a better franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's quickly, he's quickly going to become, I think, a Steeler in a heartbeat. Like we'll just forget that if he plays good football and strong football, we'll forget that he was a Raven real fast. Real quick. Because
linebackers come into their zone here at year 3, 4. This is when they really start getting, cranking, man. So that's something to be excited for with Patrick Queen, man.
And he's only 26, 25 years of age. Got him for a 3-year deal. They still might have a chance to get Cole Holcomb back if he's back from an injury. I know. Atlanta Roberts, he's ready to fire up. I saw interviews with him too. The way how he plays the game, he's very physical. It's like, they've turned different points around in this locker room that a few years ago was kind of weak, right? Middle linebacker was weak. O-line was weak. Like you said, Omar Khan been making moves. And the more moves they make, it feels like that other players want to come here, So when you start getting the Russell Wilson here, maybe Queen was like, okay, I want to come be part of this.
When you're talking about Omar Khan too, Mark, you were saying how great he is and what he's doing is special, and I agree with you. Look at that deal with Patrick Queen. The Steelers can get out of that deal next year. Like, that is such a team-friendly deal. They can basically sit back and watch his performance this year and see what he does. And if they don't like it, they can get out from underneath it. It is a team-friendly deal. You got Russell Wilson. Oh, sorry, for basically free. So, sorry, I hit my light. But, you got him for free. You got Justin Fields for a handful of pocket lint. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's because I thought going this season, and I've said it a million times, I just thought they're going to run with Kenny Pickett. I just thought Kenny Pickett and Rudolph, and then you just go, everything went different, Yeah. But it shows you now, like the culture's changing. I think even the players I don't know if you've seen the interviews, but they're talking more positive about the OC, Arthur Smith, talking more positive around the team. The players are stepping up. Who do you think is going to step up in terms of leadership in this group? You know, some of the younger guys too.
If you're looking all across the board there at the offense, sorry, I had gotten an interruption there. But if you're talking about all across the offense, I think on the offensive line, you're looking at a young Broderick Jones stepping up, being a vocal leader, taking Zach Frazier under his wing, taking Troy Fautanu under his wing, really stepping up and being a leader. And I think, of course, Najee Harris. But the big one I think is going to be the most important is Russell Wilson. Everybody bags on Russell Wilson.
I know, I don't understand it.
I think he's a real leader, man. I really, really do.
I've been and a shout out to JJ52 who sent me this. He sent me this thing around Russell Wilson. He had this. It's a weird concept where you look everything in a neutral state. That's why Russell Wilson. There's a lot of videos online too. Is a bit quirky and a bit weird, but at the same time we're all a bit like that as well. So he comes from a neutral state where he never tries to get himself into the negative. Always tries to stay neutral. He said it in an interview once, like I'm paraphrasing, but when he won the Super Bowl, he was like, "Oh, good, great, move on," kind of thing, you know. But I think if Russell Wilson came from Seattle and we had him right after, like for the Steelers, then it would have been different. I think the Denver experience and how that kind of worked out.
Yeah.
And yes, he made a few mistakes, and yes, he got sacked, he got fumbled, and that kind of stuff. But I go back to maybe it just didn't work out with Sean Payton, and those two guys didn't click together. You know what I mean?
I think
and their offense wasn't that great last year either. But then I see some football throws where he rolls out and Cortland Sutton's going to the back of the end zone and he throws that thing like he's Brett Favre or like, you know, Big Ben on the run, like going boom, or like he's Russell Wilson. And you're like, that's pretty cool. And when we see that as well, I think it's going to be like, I think maybe because the age is up there too. He's 35, 36 years of age. So maybe they want to try and feed in Fields, but I think it's going to be his team to go off. And I think, he's going to be a leader too. He's a Super Bowl champion. You know, yes, he's made mistakes, but he has over 45,000 yards, 300 TDs, interceptions. That to me is like, it's mind-blowing where how his career, he's now got a chance to do something great in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know, do you think he starts? Like, that's the number one overall question.
I think he's 1,000% the starter, at least for the first front stretch, no matter what, maybe unless of an injury or something like that. But you're looking at a Russell Wilson coming into Pittsburgh, and he has one thing on his mind. It ain't about money. It doesn't matter. He has money. Who cares? But he's coming here to cement his legacy, to show everybody that he is a deserving candidate to be a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a Super Bowl winner.
Very true.
And that's all he cares about coming here. And I think that is what is truly special about Russell and what he's going to do and bring to the Steelers.
He's here to win, right? But I know too, I think some of the cons will be, yes, he'll be slower, you know, but if he can still throw the same way he did last year, his arm's fine.
Like his arm's still rifle, man.
Yeah. And all the players now too are comparing and saying, well, the quarterback, is better. Or they're saying overall the offense is better. And it goes back to just putting shade on Kenny Pickett. And maybe it wasn't as good as it could have been with Kenny Pickett and his arm strength and, decision making. At the same time, though, I see more cons of like people are saying that that Russell can't see the middle of the field. And I'm like, well, yeah, okay, fine. But that's just one idea. And maybe the stats don't reflect that he can see the middle of the field. But I'm sure it won't impact his game that much. And maybe this year, he can start to find targets like Muth in the middle. What do you think about that stuff? Because I know you probably heard that too about he can't see the middle, apparently.
Yeah, I've heard that several times. And I got to remind everybody, I think, at least in my perspective, is you got to look at the scheme in which you're playing. You got to look at which athletes you're playing with. I think that has a lot to dictate, what's going to happen there. And too, like you brought up, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward. I think you're going to have more versatile weapons to be able to go across the middle of the field. You're going to have receivers that, even Calvin Austin, he's not scared to go across the middle of the field. Players like that may help out in that category. So I think you may see something maybe slightly different, than you may have seen possibly in the past, especially in Denver.
You know what's crazy too? You named all those tight ends, and we signed another tight end today.
Yeah, he's I would say he's more of a depth piece move. He's from Kansas City. Got to fill that 90 man out. So we're going to see a lot of those players in and out.
When's the last time though we've had 6 tight ends on the roster?
Shit, I don't know. I was was at camp like 2 years ago, probably, and they had probably 5 guys, and
Yeah,
my son and I were both like, "Man, they got a lot of damn tight ends." And I think
yeah.
now it's like, shit, they got a lot.
I've never seen that. I don't think so. We have. I'm looking at our lads. So yeah, you have Frymouth, Washington, Hayward. They're making the roster.
Yeah,
Pruitt. I don't know if they'll carry 4 tight ends, unless
yeah,
they were crazy and they would have cut Connor Hayward, but I don't think so.
nah,
But Pruitt, Rodney Williams. I've always had a soft spot for him because he played good. Excuse me, good teams. He might make the practice squad. And then Isaiah Gathings. It's just kind of crazy that Steelers did sign another tight end. But at the same time, you go to Facebook because I went there today. When I saw it in the morning, I was like, everyone's freaking out. Oh, what else? Like, it's just part of it, mate. It's business. You know what?
yeah,
The Steelers could do this. They could just not, announce, I guess, those kind of signings. But then they would, people would still freak out. But it's all part of business of like you said, the 90-man roster.
yeah,
You can feel that, and then like they'll cut them too. And
yeah,
actually, it is kind of crazy going from 90 men in your squad to 53, and then you
mm,
go and get 16 for your practice squad. You know what I mean? And last year
yeah,
too, you had Death Row, you had Miles Jack coming off the couch, and Mike Tom said they're off the couch. They had no one left. So this time in October could be completely different with what squad we have. You never know,
yeah,
just with injury and stuff like that. So I'm glad you see it that way too, because I say good luck to the bloke. I say,
yeah,
fantastic. Try your best. If you
yeah,
can't get a job here, maybe somewhere else. But a lot of Steeler nation out there will just freak out.
yeah,
Oh, where's the receiver? Where's this guy? Where's that guy? It's like, chill out.
dude, yeah. Hey, just
You
hope
know?
that they do good, because if they do well and they come and provide some special thing that we've never seen before, it only benefits the Steelers. They got them, so shit. Let's roll with it.
I'm going back to Warren, man, last year where I think a lot of players, including myself, a lot of fans, were looking at the running back position, and we didn't really talk about Warren too much until he started to make the he was undrafted guy. But there was another guy on the team, or 2 years ago. I can't remember his name. There was another guy. Starting with Steelers running back. There was
Master
two of them.
Teague.
Yeah, there was that guy, and there was another guy. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Someone in the chat will. It was another
yeah,
running back that we were looking at, and people were pretty keen on. And I think Warren was even underrated under that guy. And he came out
yeah,
of nowhere. And now Warren can go and play football on any team, like as
yeah,
a second guy or even maybe a first. So you never know what's going to happen. Like they bring these guys in, and even the receivers and people. And I'll get your thoughts too on this in a minute. But the receiver number 2 talk is Steelers need a number 2. Yes, they do. But what
yeah,
about the other 4 blokes behind them that can still play football and catch up and try and earn their spot in the role? What
yeah,
do you think we need? We need to get a number. And by the way, this one happened in 2 more days. Omar Khan might make a post
yeah.
first June cut, and this could be all nonsense. But do you think they need to go and sign a receiver number 2, or are you good with their depth who they got?
I think it's something they need to focus on. Yes. I mean, would it be, the end of the Steelers if they don't? No, not in my opinion, because I think you could do a lot of different things with other players. But I think they do need to go out and make some sort of move. I don't know who that move may be, which player that may be. But like you just said, June 1st, man, that's going to be the telltale sign. And it could go anywhere from now until literally July before moves made. So we'll just have to see. But I definitely think they need to improve a little bit. Excuse me. In that room, I just slightly. You just need that one target, that extra target, other than George Pickens. Just somebody that you can really lean on in times, when they're tough.
Okay, I'll ask the question in a different way. If they do not get someone else, and this is the team and the receivers going forward, do you think that would ruin the Steelers' chances to win a Super Bowl?
No, I don't. I don't. And the reason I say that is because of that tight end room and the strength that they have there. I think Pat Freiermuth can come out and play the big slot role. I think that you can possibly, fingers crossed, Calvin Austin develops. Fingers crossed, you got Roman Wilson that can develop. And what develops players the most? Reps, getting in there, playing, being, involved. And I think that that's what makes football players better, is reps and getting in there. So I don't think it would destroy their chances. Now, may it hurt them a little bit early on trying to develop? Maybe, possibly. But you just never know how these guys are going to pan out. And they don't got maybe a true number 2, but they got some guys with some potential. We'll say that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to this other comment about what Roberta was talking about as well. And it's not McFarlane. There's some guys escaped my mind, but it was 2 years ago. He was undrafted guy, and everybody was really keen about him. I think he was I don't know. He was from Duke. I'm pretty sure he was a Duke running back from the Steelers roster, and everyone was really excited about him. I cannot think of his name at all. It wasn't McFarlane. It started with an M. And then, anyways, that same time, Warren
Mateo
came out.
Durant.
That's the guy.
And
Yes,
that was
that
from
guy.
Daredevil in your chat. He just put
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Daredevil.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. This is why I think, and here's my point. Everybody, including myself, was really excited about Mateo Durant. 100%. We're like, oh, he can make the roster. He can do this and this. At the time, I don't feel like many Steelers fans were talking about Warren. I wasn't. I had no idea about Warren until he saw the preseason games. Then he made the roster, and you're like, whoa, dude, Warren's awesome. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Now, with the receiver 2 stuff, and the reason why I asked the question about the Super Bowl, yes, I do think that there's going to be roles carved out where they don't go and get someone. And now all this talk about me saying they won't do it, they probably will, because it always happens with me. But I still think that, Muth can move in. Calvin Austin, I think he's been checked in. He had a really good quote to what I might read in a minute about the Super Bowl. He's really fired up. I still think in the passing game, you can get to Wilson can check down to Najee Harris and Warren. They're going to use Cordero Patterson, I think, in the running game and receiver game. So this idea around we're missing a receiver 2, I think you're giving not enough credit to the receiver 3, 4, 5 guys that can still step up and move into their role. Like I think that the Van Jeffersons or the Quez Watkins, if he makes it, or the Denzel Mims, if he has a chance to carve out a role, I think they will move up. Not that now, if we go and get a Brendan Ayuk, fine. Done, good.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, fantastic. But I think we're just so fixated on that receiver 2 where if we don't get it, we have no one to throw to. But Calvin Austin, what are your thoughts on Calvin Austin? I'm going to find this quote because he's been awesome. I think in camp, what I've seen so far.
He's been pouring it on, and his work ethic is super good. I mean, he's just a good dude, and that's just one thing that we look at with him. He's a good guy. He works hard. He's coming to work every day, and I don't know. I worry about him getting some reps inside of Arthur Smith's offense because of his size limitations, maybe. But if you have to use him, that could give him that opportunity. And I'd love nothing more in the world than to see Calvin Austin succeed. We know he can blow the top off a defense. Now, and we've seen in the Buffalo game in the playoffs that he can go underneath and make a tough touchdown catch in a big moment. So a guy coming out of Memphis, maybe didn't get to play in those monster moments like that, but I think he can do it. It's just the question of will he get the opportunity to do it is what my big thing is.
I think he's got a chance because, and I want to pull this quote up in a minute, but I think he look, this whole idea of receiver 1 talk, 2 talk, 3 talk, I think I look more to roles. I think he's going to carve out a role in the offense. Even with Pickens too, yes, he'll be the number 1 guy, but he's going to be probably the go-to guy and get the ball to Pickens as much as you can. But they're going to carve out roles. Like Austin's a speedy guy. He's a shorter fellow, maybe not as big, but I feel like he can be part of this offense. And he's got now a real OC in Smith. All the players, and I'm going off what the players said, all the players love what Smith is doing. Our receiver coach, did you see the receiver coach get some praise too? He's really
Azani.
getting involved in Azani. He's getting praise too, like working with the players. And also too in this offseason, I think this is the most amount of coaches we've ever had for the Steelers.
Yes.
So maybe Omar Khan has really been ripping the franchise apart too, not just the players.
Yeah, he's been adding. Are you referring to the interview that Calvin just did?
Yeah,
he did one today, actually, I think, too, where he was talking about, if you're not on board with Coach Smith, if you're not on board with Coach Tomlin and the message we're giving out here, get up out of here. He was very vocal today in what he was saying and the things that he was saying in the media. So, yeah, but he's mentioning the work they're putting in, the attention to detail, the passion that they have. I just think it all spells good things, man. I really, really do.
Was it this quote here? So Calvin Austin said this: "We're pushing to be great. We're not pushing to have a winning record," which I like that too. We're not pushing. We're pushing to be world champions. If you don't have the same mindset. So I think he's checking in. Like I feel like you see it with these players like Warren, like even Haywood, Connor Haywood, like Najee, and they're checking in their own ways. And even with you said with Broderick Jones and how he was talking to the media too. And then when you're saying these things, that is backed up by their play in the OTAs. And yes, there's all the hype stuff like now. But if you were to compare the hype from last year and this year, this seems more of a sense of reality. Do you know what I mean? I was hyped because I wanted to find out what KP8 was going to be. Didn't realize how bad he was going to play. Now I kept saying he was really good because I was like, I just want to try. I just want to believe in my team. But he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best fit for us, you know? Maybe that was like a fake confidence. But this year, it does seem like things are backed up by physicality. You know what I mean?
It definitely seems real to me. And I got fooled last year by that KP8. Every time he touched the ball in the preseason, he scored a touchdown. Yeah. I mean, I'm at fault for that too. But damn, it does feel different. And I've been around Pittsburgh and been around the Steelers a long time, like just watching as a fan and for many, many years. And there's certain years that you get certain feelings, I feel like, and you get vibes from certain teams. And I get one of those vibes from this team, and it's a weird thing to describe, but it really is. And it's a real thing, you know?
I think it goes back to the amount of media coverage we've been getting from the locker room, right? And it goes back to Broderick Jones or Ciamalo or those guys. Even, you know what? I even saw Dan Moore. Dan Moore was talking very positive. He was talking that he's saying that he's a vet. And I understand that some Steel fans don't like Dan Moore, but I look back to him, I think he does okay. And for the locker room, if he's going to be a backup, or maybe they start, I think Troy Fautanu played the right today or the other day. So maybe they start him. They start him on right. Maybe Dan Moore fills behind him. But I think Dan Moore will still be part of this team. There's ideas around him trading. Where do you think he fits on the offense? Because I thought he did some really good, said some really good words too.
He's a leader, we'll say that, and they love him in the building. They do love Dan Moore in the building. Do I feel like he's an every week, every down starting tackle in this league? I don't, but I think it's because of his pass protection. I just don't think is quite good enough in my eyes. I feel like in the run game, he's stellar. He does good things, but I think he's more of a swing tackle backup, and I wouldn't mind to see him stay on the team because you know it as well as I do. Last year, the injury bug will lick you and get you real, real quick, man. And it doesn't hurt to have quality people that have had many NFL starts under their belt.
But even his confidence, where I think he knows the questions he's going to get from the media saying that Fautano's taking your job or the other guy's taking your job, right? And he's still a very class act and saying, well, I'm a vet and I'm here. I'm going to do the best I can for the team. And I think he's answering the questions the right way and maybe not the right way that Chooks did. And Chooks did a great job for the Steelers for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. And now you probably never ever talk about him ever again, right? But he had a mishap with Mike Tomlin and that stuff there because he wasn't too happy. We heard that KP8 wasn't too happy. But I feel like that Dan Moore is doing the right things the right way with the two young bucks that are Jones, who's becoming a leader, and Fautanu, who's like the new guy, you know? Yeah. And you know what? Dan Moore could be really shitty. He could be like, oh, this 7 sucks. What's the point in being here? But he said, no, I'm going to be a veteran about. I think he's on a 1-year contract too or something like that, and then see where it takes him, you know? Yeah. But you know what? Let's stick with the O-line because I was trying to figure out today. Who's going to be? Do you think we have nine O-linemen? Do you think we have 9? Like there's 9 or 10?
You got to remember too, guys like Dylan Cook, guys like Spencer Anderson from last year's draft. You know, Broderick Jones. Then you look at the 3 that they got this year in Mason McCormick, Zach Frazier. Troy Fautanu, you know, so many of those guys. I think they can fill it out quite easily. But you want to keep those veteran guys in because you got to look at the whole. You're looking at like 3, maybe 4 veteran guys. One of those veterans only has into his 2nd year, I guess, if you want to consider him a veteran. So there are a lot of young guys, and Dan Moore is a leader. So keeping him around might not be a bad idea, even if he isn't going to start. So, yeah, I think they can fill out 9. I think they have that.
I think somewhere. I think actually Dan Moore might start like last year too, possibly. Yeah. Maybe he starts while they try and because he even said in the interview that they're working on good run schemes and their physicality is really awesome. He likes playing that style, so maybe they start with him. Because I was trying to think about it. I was thinking from this offensive line is so much better than the last few years. You got Zach Frazier. I think he'll probably most likely start and probably earn the job. James Daniels, and there's an idea around James Daniels that he's not going to get an extension next year. So does that mean he plays out the contract? Like,
I would say you got Mason McCormick too. I got to tell you, and I don't know how much you got to see of Mason McCormick at South Dakota State. I don't think many of us did, but honestly, the things that I did see, he is a real dog. Now it is different playing guys from Ohio State and Alabama and things like that, and you're not playing those teams at South Dakota State, but he's an option and he's a viable option in my eyes. And you look at guys like Spencer Anderson, players like that, you may be able to let a guy go and not pay him. But yeah, I like James Daniels. I think he is very productive. I think he's a good ball player. So
me too.
I'd like to
Is
keep him.
it something where they're not the reports were they're not doing an extension with James Daniels, but does that mean they can still do it at the end of the year? Do you know what the story was about? I only saw bits of it.
I don't know the story with that. I don't even think I've seen it. But if he's on the final year, that's always going to be the talk. You have several other players. I think Dan Moore, he's on the last year of his rookie deal, I do believe. So, you're going to hear those rumors. But the Steelers will always have the option, there before the end of the season wraps up to go and grab them, sign them up, So the contract stuff just becomes so finicky, man, especially when you're dealing with option players and different things like that, to where you could get compensatory picks, and it becomes very, very, very in depth.
It's interesting because there was one of the reporters said that the Steelers are not looking to extend James Daniels after this season, and then what I always think too, that could be good for both parties. To me, I think the Najee Harris thing is good for both parties. Maybe James Daniels wants to fight it out here, and then I always see some of the fans on the internet are saying, "Oh, we let him go, we let him go, we let him go." Well, maybe the player wanted to be somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's not just the team letting go.
Yeah, I think that was Kenny's biggest issue, because he's from New Jersey. He wanted to play for the team that he grew up rooting for. I truly believe that, and I think that when he saw Russell come, he's seen his out, man, and that's what I think happened there. So you never know. You never know with these players.
But it's the same thing when I see like some of the tweets out there that say the Steelers missed out on this player. It's like, did we really miss out on the player, or it just didn't work out from both parties? Because both parties have, Omar Khan and their crew, and also the players have their agents trying to work things out. So for me, if it could be a mutual thing where Daniels is like, you know what, we'll play this year out and we'll see what happens in as a free agent, right? So I don't know if they're going to trade him or whatnot, but I feel like if he will be a part of this year, see what happens. And then, like he said, you've got the Anderson, you've got the big brute dude, the Kenny McCormick, not South Park, but McCormick. Herbig's there. He's like, these dudes are ready to play. And Herbig had a good interview too. He talked about how Russell Wilson and the O-line, or Russell Wilson took him out once, but the O-line goes out together. They're gelling. And we haven't heard this stuff, I don't think, for since 10 years ago?
No, it's been a long time since we've had a quality offensive line. We'll say that. At least in my eyes, I don't think that they've had quality play since like the Villanuevas and those types of guys, the Castros, Pounces. Those are the types of guys that I remember. That's the last time I remember it being good. But you bring up gelling. They got to get as many reps in as possible together and stick them together. That's the key to this whole offseason. And if the offensive line doesn't gel, the offensive line isn't good, where do you go? You can't win anything. You got to win those trenches first.
You go backwards like a Deontay Johnson, tackle. You know what? I'm not even people. A lot of people are like, "Oh, we're gonna miss DJ."
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I like DJ, but I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay without it.
Like, you know what? If TJ Watt would have gone on the team, I'd miss TJ, but not DJ. Like, he was a good player. I tried to back him up as best I could, but there were times where he just wasn't as physical or checked out. He watched the ball and you weren't running, and there was just all this kind of stuff going on. There's a lot of me. But at least, like, when I watched, like, I saw a good comment the other day. Someone said that I said Pickens had an ego, and someone said to me, he hasn't got an ego, he's just immature. And I was like, that's a good call. Like, he's only 23 years of age. He's not mature yet, Whereas DJ, I think he was 25, 26, but he just didn't feel like a Steeler fit. And I'm kind of glad they didn't bring him back. Like, you're going to move, do your own things and get your own players in here. And also, they have brought in half the Falcons locker room, with all their players too. But I don't know, man. I'm not too pressed about that. Like, we're going to miss DJ in this sense, Omar Khan made his cut and said, that's it. Roberta says DJ was not consistent. Plus, his attitude wasn't the best. Yeah, I don't know if he would fit this Steeler mentality right now. It feels like all the draft players are very pumped up, very physical. Roman Wilson, Zach Frazier. That is it. Peyton Wilson, the middle linebacker. Let's talk about that bloke. What about him? Do you know any about him, Peyton Wilson?
I know that I have said since the start of the NFL draft that I thought he was going to be a monster deal for whoever got it. Got him. And when the Steelers drafted him, I remember saying to myself just quickly in my head, this is the biggest steal in the whole draft, in my opinion. I feel like this guy was completely overlooked. And when he is going to be paired with guys like Patrick Queen and Landon Roberts, and with the speed that he can get to, the ground he can cover, the way he can pass cover, I just think you are going to see so many special things out of this guy from day one. It's going to be really fun to watch. And also, look at exotic blitz packages. You remember the days of Blitzburg. I think you're going to get to see those things again because of guys like a Peyton Wilson. I just think he's going to be special, man. He's super quick and rangy, you know?
And the one big thing is, like, everyone goes back to his injury with the no ACL, but didn't he play? He had that. He played football for 2 years without it.
2 years. He hasn't been injured in over 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why do we? And that, I feel like, is always sitting on everyone's shoulders. It's brought up that much, and he's going to hear about it forever.
One of your favorite Steelers of all time. One of mine. One of all, I'm sure, all of Steeler Nation. Hines Ward played with no ACL.
I never knew that. No one knew that until the incident. No one knew that.
Yeah, he did just quite fine. He did very good in my eyes. I feel like Hines Ward changed the game of football at the wide receiver position with no ACL. So I really have high hopes for Peyton Wilson. And he can come downhill and he will light your ass up. He's not just some like sissy guy that's, not going to make a tackle. He's going to come and be physical too.
Yeah, he seems like a bit of a I don't not an Oakland Raider, but like a just that kind of mentality of like is that
he's the closest thing to Ryan Shazier I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I like the way you said rangy. Like he just kind of like he's gonna run there and put his arms out and just grab you as best he can. He's gonna try and tackle you like Troy 43 when he turned around and he tackled the eagle with his back. Remember that one?
Yeah,
remember that?
Yes, I miss those days. I missed those days so bad. That was probably one of my favorites.
Let's go there now. I want to get into a bit of your. We've done a ton of Steelers talk OTAs. We can go on forever and ever. We'll get back there in a minute.
Yeah.
But I want to learn about your Pittsburgh Steelers story. Like, let's let everyone know. I know some of your guys are here from Mike Drop Sports, and I appreciate all the likes, all this kind of stuff.
Awesome.
Steelers Wage Show 2's in the house as well. Had a good comment before from Arsenal DB. This is the Steelers community. Like, we're online, but we're everywhere. Everyone kind of knows everyone. It's good fun. But how did you begin your Pittsburgh Steelers fandom?
Just a kid growing up in a place called Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Growing up, South Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Everybody around me, a Steelers fan. I went through a little bit of a period to where I liked the Green Bay Packers because I liked their team colors, but that was a brief thing whenever starter jackets came out and they were cool. But quickly that went away. But I've basically been a Steeler fan my whole existence of my life, 40 years. But growing up around it, seeing teams over the years, just different ways of playing Steeler football, I've just grown to love it since I was just a small kid, man. And being on in my house every single Sunday, never missed a Sunday, going to any place around town. And what do you see? Steelers stuff hanging in the windows, Steelers on TV, go to a restaurant, Steelers on TV. So it's hard not to be immersed in the culture of the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially if you grow up around the area. No doubt about it.
It's funny how you say you're the Packers fan because of the colors. Aren't you glad you weren't a fan of brown? Because I could have. Imagine being a Brown
kicked
fan.
Out of my house.
Yeah, true. But even just like watching the Browns over the last years and years do nothing. I saw. Did you see Deshaun Watson's comment about Steelers versus Browns are the greatest rival? Like, do you know the record we have against them? I tweeted
he's never beat the Deshaun Watson's never beat the Steelers ever.
No, he's 0-3.
Yeah.
So he's 0-3. Of course, the Browns beat us last year with the Matt Canada game where we couldn't go down the field to get a field goal in two quarters, which was awful. Oh. Like that was like you had to fire someone. And then they even said it was even going to be Kenny Pickett or him. So when Watson put that quote out, here it is. So since 2000, the Cleveland Browns have a record of nine wins, 38 losses, and 1 draw. That's
Wow.
not the best rivalry in sports.
No.
38.
No.
That's like nine times, and they've never won the division.
No.
Like
I
since I've
brought it
been
up
born.
on my show that rivalries have to have two sides to them, and I don't see the other side to the rivalry. So that's where I got kind of confused. But somebody brought up on my channel, I guess you can have a rivalry like that because they're always trying to beat us. So in their eyes, yes, we're their arch nemesis. Like they're
Very true.
Lex Luger, they're Thor or Thanos rather. We're that kind of look to them.
If they didn't have Baker Mayfield, Big Ben would still have the record for the most wins in Cleveland.
Yes.
How unbelievable. Like, I love all these stats. These stats are just amazing to me that there's still 12
crazy.
teams never won. And Big Ben, for a time, he had the most wins in their stadium.
Yeah.
Like, that
How
to
would
me
you
is just
feel-
like unbelievable.
How would you feel as a Cleveland Browns fan knowing that you
Yeah.
passed on Ben Roethlisberger and didn't draft him, and he went on to a
And he was
team
Ohio
in your
guy, right?
division to
He
win
was Ohio-
rings?
Yeah, he was an Ohio guy, right? That's
Yes.
from Big Ben. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he could have been. It could have turned that whole franchise around.
They could have
because,
picked him. Yeah, they could have picked
Mm.
him. They had the chance to pick him, and they bypassed him. They passed right over him. They could have picked him. Yeah.
That's why I always
And-
find these things funny, man. I think even him having the record, I think the Browns, doing nothing. They're
Yeah.
wasting all their money with Watson. Watson's coming out and saying that it's a great rival. It's like, no, it's not. This is Steelers
No.
like own you.
No.
It's insane.
And Watson's always in a sweatsuit too. Sweatsuit, legal troubles. Back in the day when he played for the Texans, yeah, he was phenomenal, but
Mm.
he has not been the same since all the legal stuff and everything went
No,
down.
it just doesn't. It's
just
the
not
same. It's a different. It doesn't feel like Steelers football camp. It's always like there's drama in Browns football camp. They're all really excited and then they won't do anything.
Yeah.
I kind of get the feeling that too, and I'll answer ask you this question: with the AFC North, like, is this a year the Steelers can get it back? Because I feel like the teams are a bit more even now than it used to be with the Bengals trying to run away with it or the Ravens running away with
Yeah.
it. I feel like there's a bit of uneasiness in the Bengals camp with their receivers, and I think Joey B. I even go to their comments for the Bengals, and some of their fans are like, "It's Joey Glass." They're even starting to get a bit like,
Yeah, nervous.
frustrated at Joey B not being injured and stuff like that. Do you think we
Yeah.
can win the division?
I look at a team last year that went 5-1 within the AFC North, and I think that they have improved. So I don't see a world to where all of a sudden they fall apart and finish 1-4 or 1-5 in the division. I don't see that. I think the Steelers do have a real legitimate chance to do something special and win the division because of what? Russell Wilson is a veteran, a leader. He's won a Super Bowl. He knows how to get it done. And I feel like you're going to have a quality team around you and around him, and a defense I feel like is going to be lights out in my eyes. I think they are going to be really good. I'm only concerned about that defensive front. That's where I'm really concerned.
I agree. Russell Wilson, though, too, you think about last year, he was in Denver, had to play KC. It's Mahomes' division. That's really hard to win. It's now like, but he has the backup from the defense, and that's probably why he came over too, is he knows this defense with Minka, TJ, Cam, Keanu Benton, these big dudes, now Queen, like this defense can settle down the Ravens or settle down the Browns or the Bengals. So that will give him a chance to win games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like now he's got TJ Watt to help him out to win games near the end. So I would feel confident being a quarterback saying, look, I'll get you guys 21 points. I'll get 24. I'll get 24 and you just keep them under. I'll try and get 27. I'll get 27. We've got Chris Boswell. We've got now a really good punter. Omar Khan is getting chess pieces all around the corner. Chris Boswell is someone's not near enough talked about. They all talk about Justin Tucker. Chris Boswell is like one of our best kickers. I wasn't around for the days of is it Gary Anderson, number one?
Yeah.
I wasn't around for him. But Chris Boswell is one of our best. So get him to the 40, 3 points. Then the next minute, you're versing Lamar Jackson, fumble, get the ball back, 7 points, 10-0. So Russell Wilson in this new, because I agree too. I think the Steelers can win 4-2, 5-1. I think they can beat the Ravens twice again. I think the only game we might lose would maybe be, sometimes it's hard to play Browns in Brown Stadium. They seem to play. that's their Super Bowl for some reason.
It is. And Steeler fans got to remember that too, Mark. One thing. With a franchise of the caliber of the Steelers, a 6-time champion, everybody loves the Steelers, a big, huge fan base. Every week you're getting somebody's best shot. It's like, that town, that sports media, culture is hyping that game up. It's a big game every single week, What Mike Tomlin always say, 5-star matchup because we're in it. And that's the truth. That's definitely the truth.
Mike Tomlin says a lot of things. He says this.
We do not care.
I like that, though.
Right. He also says this.
Coach Stumlin, let's go for the win, man.
Working. That's probably the best one. That's probably
I think that is. I will be there. By the way, are you going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers draft in 2026?
Oh yeah, man, definitely I'll be there.
Yeah,
1,000.
Are you going to be around for Christmas? Because I'm coming over Christmas too. We have to try and catch up somehow. Some
Yeah,
way.
I might actually be at that game. My son sometimes likes to get Steeler tickets for Christmas, so you never know. He may pick that game.
Yeah,
but
that's a big
I
one
typically
too.
stay away from cold games because I'm a sissy in the cold. But
Yeah, how cold will it be during Christmas? Last time I was there, for me it was like
not too bad.
It was like 2 degrees Celsius or zero, around zero. For you guys, might have been, I don't know, minus 15 or something. I can't do the conversion.
Yeah.
Too hard.
I've been to some cold ones. Christmas hasn't been like super snowy or cold lately, at least in this region. It can be, but 9 times out of 10, I've worn shorts on Christmas Day before, It's been like that, but it has the potential. I don't think it'll be too bad. I went to the Jets-Steelers AFC Championship game years ago, and I got to tell you, that might be the coldest I ever been, man. It was freezing. It was negative a gazillion, man. It was freezing cold.
I found when I was over there, I had to wear better socks. My feet were just cold. My face was pretty cold. I was warm everywhere else. Just my feet. If they got wet, I was done. Like my feet were just freezing. So I got to wear better socks. I want to give a shout out to Steeler Wager. Says I wish we could stay awake later on. Is near your 9 p.m., 10 p.m. in some areas. So thank you, Wade, mate. Doing a great thing over there. On his channel too. You've had Wade on the show, right? No?
Yeah, he came on.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think. All these Pittsburgh Steelers media, not media, fans of the real channel right now. The media's cool. Like I like media. I like Nick Farabaugh and Alan Saunders. You seen those blokes on TV?
Yeah, I like them.
They do pretty good. Like they're the ones I'm like. They give actual reporting, real stories. They're like, okay, let's talk about our team and what is happening. Right. And it's like from the truth media perspective. Like Alan Saunders will call it out saying we don't need this, we need that. You're like, yeah, it makes sense, So I give a shout out to Steeler Wade. He's going off to sleep. But yeah, man. So you're going to be around for Christmas. But what about the draft? Are you going to try and?
I'm going to try to do a show or two down there. That's like my hopes anyway. I hope to figure out some way to do that. We'll see how things progress from now until then, but I plan on doing that and doing a show. Maybe if you could stop through, maybe you could be a special guest live on the show.
I'm going to try and be there too in 2026. I got to figure something out. My first priority is getting a hotel because all the hotels are like not booked yet, but I've been talking to some hotels and I'm like trying to figure it out, but they're like, it's still 2 years away. But the minute that they come out, I have to go book one. With not even flights first, because I feel like there's going to be a million people over 3 days. I want to be a part of that. I know it's going to be really. I'm not a huge fan of crowds, but it's just something I think that this Pittsburgh won't have it again for 50 years.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
So because it's like it's not maybe the best location. They always seem to go to the bigger cities, like because Pittsburgh's surrounded by rivers, right? Rivers everywhere.
Yes. Three rivers.
Can you put players on boats? Like, what can you do? I don't know.
Hey, somebody offered a pontoon boat on my channel that they had a pontoon boat and that we could take it down. I'm like, dude, I'm game. I'll go on the pontoon boat. We'll pull right up to Acrisure Stadium, man. We'll be right there.
They should do that. They should announce a draft picks. They get to the stage. They get a boat. What I mean? They get a boat to walk up.
Wheel them up.
Yeah, but it's like because I've been there 3 times now. Yeah. And there's, of course, the Point Park. There's Heinz Field. There's baseball and that. But yeah, there's room. But like in bigger cities, of course, you can make. Like I went to Houston for the Super Bowl, And their place was awesome, like one big huge park, and they had near downtown, so they had so much room. But like Pittsburgh will try and figure it out.
It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough, man.
Let him stay in your basement. Just don't lock me down there. I've seen those movies too, man.
You're welcome to it.
You might lock me down there.
That was my old house. We're in an Airbnb right now. Our new house will actually be ready in like 10 days here, so we're in flux. Our old house is gone. We're in an Airbnb, and then our new house will be like the beginning of June here, June 7th or 8th.
So was it Thomas who gave you the offer for the boat? Offer still stands on the boat.
There he is, Thomas. Yeah. What's up, dude? Yes, that was him.
Yeah, right. Yes. That's cool. Because I that's one thing I haven't done yet in Pittsburgh. I haven't been on a boat there. I've just always been at the pub. You know what I mean? Just drinking scary.
Well, if you're coming in cold weather, you're not going to get the boat experience. Probably that's the thing. You know, nobody. When you come into warm weather season, that's when you'll get the boats.
Yeah, that's what I've been there too. Well, I've been there two times now. Was in Christmas Day game, Steelers versus Ravens. Fantastic. Yeah. I was there in the stadium. Unbelievable. And the first time I went there was kind of funny. I was in Pittsburgh at the Jerome Bettis Bar and Grill when Russell Wilson threw that pass and got caught. Like I was in the city because the goal was to hopefully see Pittsburgh in there. But, you know, hopefully I'm worried about that. I'm worried about seeing Russell Wilson at the 2-yard line. Hand it off, you know? Give it to Najee.
Yes. Let the big boys do it.
Unless we bring our boat. Oh, another boat. Oh, Rod's
I'm down.
Rod's gonna. We have all these kind of boats out there. All right, I want to find more about your story too. So you're a fan from Pittsburgh. Who's your all-time favorite Pittsburgh Steeler through and through and through? Number one, you got to choose one.
Joe Green, man. Mean Joe. That's my guy. That's the dude that started it all. If you really think about it, the guy that made the franchise change completely. And it's hard for me to look anywhere else. I know that there's many Hall of Famers, but Joe Green's that guy. He changed the fortunes of the Pittsburgh Steelers in my eyes.
Did you watch him growing up, or did you?
No, he's a 70s player. You know, 60s. That was the guy though that they picked first that started that steel curtain. You know, that was like Chuck Noll's guy. You know, brought him in, and you know he's the guy that's really got this whole thing started in my eyes. You know, through the 70s, through all the Super Bowls. You know, you have some of our fans out there that know a gazillion things about all this history, been a fan for a million years, but from my history knowledge, Joe Green is that guy. Yeah,
true. See, I respect Joe Green, all the greats out there. The Rocky Byers and whatnot, and Harris and Franco, and I love their stories. But I have my connection to my players, and mine is James Debo Harrison. He is fucking fantastic. If you are members in the chat, I do now have a Debo emoji, and it's fantastic. You want to spam that because I think he's a similar way with Mean Joe Green. Debo to me was just that player that was just on fire all the time.
Yes,
like he got cut. He's the work ethic is something solid. He knocked out like 3 Browns in one game. He was insane. He was just so fun to watch. Growing up as a kid, learning the game as when I was 16 years of age going, did Debo just run that back, the 99-yard interception?
Yes.
That stuff to me is like insane. Like that is like one of the best times of my life in his career with the Steelers. And he went to be a Patriot. Yeah, he went to be a Bengal, but he's ended his, Steelers legacy on a good note, right? And he's still getting involved with the team. Did you see the draft video where he was trying to make him laugh and the young players were trying to get him to laugh? Yeah.
Dude, he's scary, bro. He's scary. But his play, when you brought up that interception against Arizona in the Super Bowl, that's one of those plays that you remember exactly where you were, what you were doing, exactly like everything around you, every detail. That's one of those plays. And how often do those come around? Not very often.
I think I must have been 2008 because I remember when I did the interview with Brian McFadden. It was really fun to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because I said to Brian McFadden, I was 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, you're making me feel old." But I'm like, "No, well, Brian McFadden's only really 10 years older than me."
There.
Yeah, but he was playing. Yeah, he was playing. And
he was there.
And he talked about James Debo Harrison running back, but B-Mac wasn't on the field. He was watching. He wasn't part of that. He was on the field at the moment for the 11. But yeah, I must have been a kid watching at my old house on Foxtel. We had like cable, and I would have watched it for sure. But I don't know my overall reaction. But just going back to that video of Debo Harrison running 99 yards, pushing people off, and it's like, and he's laying down there. And then when Mike Tomlin does a really good thing, he says, "What did Debo Harrison say after?" He's like, "I'm tired, boss."
When you brought up Brian McFadden, I don't think many people in Steelers Nation really maybe think about it anymore or realize that if it weren't for Brian McFadden in that Indianapolis playoff game after Jerome Bettis fumbled that football, if it wasn't for him getting tried so many times and making a play, the Steelers would have never even made it to that Super Bowl. But Brian McFadden was instrumental in winning that football game. And they tried him, many times, and he came up big every single time, man.
In that interview, he breaks it down really well. And I said at the time, did you get nervous or what happened to you? Were you in the zone? He said, Mark, honestly, I couldn't hear noise for 5 seconds when the ball was in the air. And I knocked it out as he did that for the first one or the first one. And then once he knocked it out, he came back to reality. I was like, my goodness. And the second one, when he went for because Peyton Manning tried to pick on him a lot. And the second one, he went to go for the interception and dropped it. And he was really pissed off he didn't get it. Then they had to wait for the kick.
I thought he did.
Yeah. But he knew. He said he's in the interview somewhere on my channel too in the live. You want to go back and watch it. It's really good one. I'm not just saying that because I'm on it. I'm saying it because it's a really good interview. The way how me and you go back and forth. It's fan. He's a great bloke. I want to try and get back on. He's like a Steeler. Like he's in the media and he's still a Steeler. And the way he talks about the Pittsburgh Steelers is so much fun. But he was saying too, in that chance the ball's going over, that Peyton Manning was always going for him every single time, going for him 1,000%. And he's like, you know what? It's me. I got to do it. And he got him in. He got him in for the chance now. So I'm keen to get back to the now football, right? And you said that Mean Joe Green was your guy from the past, one of the best. Who's the guy on the team right now that's your absolute favorite? Can you choose one?
My absolute favorite right now, if you're looking at these players, it's got to be T.J. Watt, the best defensive player on the planet, in my opinion, until proven otherwise, until somebody dethrones him. It's hard for me not to love exactly what he's doing, Oh, sorry, my dog's barking. Sorry.
He's definitely up there. That's all good. He's definitely up there. Because for me, I'm thinking, I think it's one of those things where Cameron Hayward is almost finished, right? His career is winding down. And the minute that it's gone over, you're like, oh no, what happened? Yes. And it's like TJ Watt too. He's like 8 years in the league now. And I know we need to win some things, but he is one I think. I've got a real soft spot, for Warren. I think he's my favorite so far on the team. But when you say TJ Watt, you're like, this team without TJ Watt is not the same.
No,
not
at all.
People start saying he's getting slow, he's getting this, but it's like the dude wants to win.
Yeah,
same with
love it for them to win, just for TJ, just for Cam, just for those guys,
Just to put, I think to have this defense, we have seen how good it can be. Over the last years and all the highlights. Yes, something like that, a magical run to get one, just to get 7 and give Cameron Hayward Super Bowl. But I think as well for like the fan base, it would probably calm us down a bit too.
Right.
Like for the next few years. People were saying to me, would you want to have, someone said, would you want to have one playoff win or a Super Bowl? And I was like, well, you want Super Bowl, but still would be happy with a playoff win. But I'm kind of keen to see what this team does in terms of, to me, I think to have success, they got to win the North and have home field advantage, because it does seem like that they aren't prepared in certain, going to Buffalo, stuff like that.
Right.
Can we see a Jets versus Steelers and the Steelers and just knock them off and don't care?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just keen to see what can happen with this team. And like the guys like that, TJ, Cam, and these guys getting older. And it's getting that point where, we've got 6, but it wouldn't be bad having 7. Right?
No, not at all.
You know what I mean? Hey, man, so we're going to get out of here shortly, but I want to give now the chat, if you can. We've got 29 people in the house, and we'll go for about another 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
And if you guys want to feed in questions for Jason, if you do not know where Jason's from, he's from Mike Drop Sports on YouTube, talking Pittsburgh Steelers pretty much every day, doing live streams, Steelers videos, content, I think you try and get everyone hyped up too, right?
Try.
Yeah. Try.
Difficult task.
So yeah, I'm going to put in the chat any questions for you, and it can be anything to do with this season, to do with your Steelers life, to do with, pretty much anything. And we've got the first one. That's a good question. What is your favorite type of pizza?
Oh, straight pepperoni, man.
I know.
Yeah, I could deal with some ham, something like
Mine
that
is
on there,
too.
but just straight pepperoni, man.
Is that a guy thing? It must be a guy thing.
I don't know. I just think you get too elaborate, it just gets weighed down,
Most blokes, I feel like, just go pepperoni for their favorite. I think I've asked many people this, and everyone says pepperoni. It's just simple, right? Because I asked Tyler from It's Ginsberg, he's a pepperoni. I think even Matty Peverill might have said, he can correct me if he made this far in the video. But I think pepperoni's for me.
Hell yeah, man. Why not? It's easy.
There you go. Not just a guy thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at the last comment. Tell you what you think. What comment is that? Oh, good call. Okay, it's not a question, but it is kind of. Guys, I really think that Patrick Queen is the last piece we need to get over the hump. Yeah, we talked before, right? You reckon that's the thing?
Yeah.
He's the foundational piece?
Oh, yeah. He was a steal, and he's a guy that can provide, that leadership in the middle, that presence in the middle, and I think that he is just going to be special, man. He might be that one piece that you needed, but I think even last year you had a good inside linebacking room that just fell apart due to injury, but I think this one's going to be even better than last year. That's something special.
It was kind of crazy to watch, though. Was it Michael Walker in there? Yeah, Miles Jack come back from the couch. That was a different time that they had to go and get those players like that. Michael
Walker couldn't cover anybody, man. He
wasn't the best player. He was just a guy filling in. He was this guy just to be in his spot, really. Yeah, he wasn't making any big plays. But what do you do? He's a guy from the practice squad. He's a guy maybe from the UFL. Rod said hamburger, pepperoni extra. I like that. He says pepperoni with pineapple. I don't mind pineapple because I work with pizza for 9 years. I'll eat. Oh, you don't like it or do you like it?
I do. It don't matter to me. I'll eat anything.
I eat anything. Yeah.
Especially if it's free, I'll eat it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I'm not too bad with that. But I worked for Pizza Hut for 10 years, and I just put anything on there. I pretty much ate everything but anchovies on pizza. Anything. It didn't matter.
Me too. No fish on the pizza, man. I ain't doing
that. That's a bit much. Pittsburgh Toddy 86 says, who is the biggest Steelers Hall of Fame snub?
Mine would be Hines Ward, in my opinion. I want Hines Ward to be in the damn Hall of Fame. And I gotta say, and there's bigger ones, and I know there's other players that people will say that's from the 70s teams, maybe from 80s and things like that. But in my opinion, Hines Ward transitioned the game of football into a different era with how he played. He'd come across and he would knock your ass out, and he's done it. So just the way that he changed the rules, I just feel like Hines Ward.
There's a rule about him. You can't do the crackback block, right?
Yeah, the crackback block. Yeah. I just think that he's a guy that deserves it. He may not have the numbers to get in, but he's a guy that I think should be.
Roberta says LC Greenwood's up there. He's up there for sure.
Yes.
It's funny.
He would be my number 2.
Yeah. It's funny because I did hear there was some video report I saw somewhere. I don't know where I saw it. They were talking about how the Steelers have too many good players, so they can't put them in. It's like you can't. You know what I mean?
Wing for honestly, no doubt about that. You would definitely. That's
why the Hall of Fame committee, probably doesn't want to put them in all the time.
Yeah, and that's definitely the reason.
TJ Watt's going in. Big Ben's going in.
Yes, their first ballot for sure. No
Antonio Brown would have went if he stayed with the team, but he went crazy.
What an idiot.
Le'Veon Bell would have went if he stayed with the team.
Yes, I agree on both of those. I can't believe that. If
they were had the same trajectory of their football and the numbers were high, Antonio Brown was one of the best Steelers ever played the game. But playing on the game is so different to than his wild takes on the internet. It's just a completely different person. Roberta says I'm a cheese pizza lover. 40 says I like all kinds of pizza. Yeah,
We're
that's right. Yeah,
home
Chloe
on
works
that.
there too. Alrighty. Any other?
Cauliflower.
I agree, dude. Yeah, that's a bit.
Cauliflower cut crust.
Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, it sounds bad.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry,
that
I
one.
seen that and I was like, oh man, that's
Yeah,
gross.
no. 7 days without pizza makes 1 week. I think it does too.
Yeah, George.
What about
Hey,
this?
what's up, George?
Russ says, "G'day." Russ says, "Queen and
What's up,
Wilson
Russ?
both run 4.4, have elite speed." Yeah, that's what you've been saying that, right?
Yeah.
Like Shay Deer.
Yeah, I think you look at Peyton Wilson, he's the closest thing that you could compare to Ryan. I mean, that's the closest you've gotten inside of a Pittsburgh Steelers helmet. No doubt about that.
Working out says, "Did Kevin Green get in the Hall of Fame? Is he in the Hall of Fame? I don't know.
That I don't know. I do not know. I have no clue.
He was the lineman, right? The bloke with the blonde hair.
No. Yeah, he was the end, like a pass rusher, like a TJ Watt type thing.
Is he? Oh, I think he is. Yeah.
might be.
Is he a former Ram as well?
He is. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Ram.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
in. So class 16, so he's in there for sure. Yep. Any other questions in here? Anything you want to bring up today in today's podcast? Anything that's really on your mind for Steelers?
No, I mean, we covered it up pretty. Feel pretty good with what we covered. We covered a lot of that, and I appreciate it. And I just appreciate you having me on and talking Steelers, man. It's always fun.
It's all good. Okay, so working out says, Mark, is the offense going to be the main school or the defense? Well, you'd hope the offense.
It better be the offense. The offense needs to average 24 points a game. That's what I feel.
Yeah. If it's a defense,
24 and you're good.
So what? The defense ought to score, 14 points? Yeah, it has to be the offense. That's it. Yeah. I understand the question, but
you're in trouble if the defense scores more points.
Yeah, that's it. Russ says, "Love me some white pizza with tomato and broccoli." Never had tried broccoli in pizza. That could be interesting.
That'd be good.
But I would, I'd pretty much eat anything like that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions before we get out of here? It's a good. G'day, big stretch. What's going on? 357. Old school guys. Anyone? Yeah, the same thing you've been talking about, right? Peyton Wilson, that Lambert vibe.
Yeah.
They rough around the edges,
like,
right?
Body type. Yeah.
Yeah. Even like he's like his haircut and he just looks like a rough bloke.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not the cleanest tackler, but he'll go in there and get it.
Yeah. You just want mean dudes, man.
Yeah, just hang on to him, hit him as hard as you can, stuff like that. So,
in today's NFL, though, speed is what you need at that inside linebacker spot because they have to cover people. They have to be able to match up well with the tight end. Last year, you've seen Minka having to come down constantly or whoever's playing safety. You can't have that all the time because they can't do their job. They can't cover for the middle linebackers all the time when they need to do what they need to do too.
Well, it's like the running backs and guys like that talk about that a lot with their speed in the NFL is so different. When you bank outside to run or outside, next minute, boom, you got 4 players there on you. It's so much quicker and faster. These guys know where to be in certain spots. So then, obviously you might see Wilson maybe overshoot some things like Devin Bush used to, but I'm sure he'll be able to be a better tackler than Devin Bush. Devin Bush is now at Brown too.
All
right, let's do. Yeah, dude, that was he was fun to watch at the start.
Yeah.
And he just gave up. He just didn't want to. He was like the 3rd or 4th, 5th man in the tackle.
Yeah.
He'd be
that ACL killed him, man. That was.
He didn't want to play.
Yeah.
G'day, Reginald River. What's going on? We're almost about to finish, but I appreciate everyone in the live chat. It's been a really good show.
Man.
We'll do one more question for Roman Wilson. Is Roman Wilson going to provide enough, like in terms of like receiver?
I think so. I think he's a guy that dropped one of my viewers, Russ, all the time. Just brought up last show or the show before that he dropped one pass all of his, career at Michigan. I think he's going to be a guy that can contribute, but just how much can he contribute as a rookie, we'll have to see. But I definitely think he has the skill set, the athleticism, and you can incorporate him into this scheme well enough that he's going to definitely contribute for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think some of these blokes from the draft do feel like physicality guys and Pittsburgh guys. And it's like getting back to that, like, not like the DJ where you run out of bounds or whatever you do. Maybe you hit them, but like you got to be safe and smart too, where you don't want to get yourself injured, but take the tackle, get the yard. It's like, remember the last year when Mason Rudolph ran for the first down and Trubisky wouldn't do that. But Rudolph did it. That was cool, man.
Yeah,
He ran
I
in
was
there and
pumped.
jumped in there. I was like, let's go.
You got to have
You
a
know?
set of cojones to do that, man.
Yeah. Well, you'd never
Yeah.
see a Mitch do that. Maybe even
Hell no.
a Kenny tried it and then he got injured, right? Kenny got
Yeah.
beat up a lot.
He'd get a headache.
But seeing Rudolph do that is like a Steeler thing or a football thing. It's like that's why I always say that like Warren and Connor Hayward is not like is he a fullback or tight end?
Right.
He's a football player. He even tells
Yeah.
himself, "I'm a football player. I'm out playing teams. I'm doing this. I'm tackling, and I'll be a blocker. If you want me to catch the ball and run, you want me to be a fullback and run 2 yards. I'm a football player." And that's what the Steelers are building to, getting guys like that. Now I'm pumped up. This is now the official start of me being pumped up. I was kind of like, oh, it's off season, and now I'm like, the more I think about it, I'm pretty fucking pumped up. Like I'm like, I need to get on the hype train again for the OTAs, and then it'll be a 6-week break, and I'll be down again. But then we'll be out again.
Go put yourself on a jersey, wear it around all day, get yourself fired up. Go maybe randomly tackle somebody on the street or something.
Yeah, why not? I'm going to play Madden versus the Bengals and then put on easy mode and beat them 100-0. You losers. Can you just one more thing? I've been trolling this one side on the Bills recently.
Yeah.
Because I just wrote in like there was a Josh Allen clip against the Steelers, and they're all having a go at me. And I was like, your franchise went to 4 Super Bowls in a row and lost them all. You have no comeback to me. Like, there is nothing. Like, they're like, the Bills, we beat you last year in the playoffs. I don't care. Your friend, I couldn't imagine going to 4 Super Bowls in a row and you lose each one.
Just say wide right. Every time they say anything, just say wide right. Wide right,
but
bro.
It's the same with the Bengals fans that have a go at me. I was like, I've been watching football for 20-something years. I've been very lucky, and even BMAC talked about this. I've been very lucky to have to see 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime.
Right.
Like 2 when I was a kid. And
That's
Bengals fans, how many of Bengals fans see win?
Oh, none.
None. 0.
Yeah.
None.
Most fans have seen them play and won. That's it.
And they lost. So,
like,
if I'm ever feeling down, I'll just go chuck on, 43, and I'll see what happens.
I always when I'm feeling blue, I just think about how would it feel to be a Browns fan? How would it feel to be a Bengals fan? And that all automatically cheers you up.
Well, you'd feel blue, and you'd still be a Browns fan. At least we can feel a bit like, and we all go through this in life in stressful times.
Yeah.
100%. But at least we can go, oh, yeah. I might watch the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
Like when I had BMAC on, it was so refreshing because I was like, this bloke won 2 Super Bowls, No one can tell him anything. He won 2. And other fans, Browns fans, have never won one. The Bengals, 57 years.
Yeah.
57 years. Think about that.
Crazy. And when they're wearing those bright orange helmets, they look like a road cone here on the street, on the highway. That's what that looks like. I just say I couldn't dress like that to look like a road cone. I'd just feel out of place.
You gotta give it to them because they do cheer support. They support the team every year, but it must be tiring. It must be tiring every time to know the fact that you're out of the contention within, back in the day, was it what in the early 2010s where there was like they were 0-6 and that's it.
Yeah, crazy, man.
Like in my fandom, I've never been like that. I've never. With the Coach Cowher and Tomlin, I don't think I've ever had where we've always been in the season. Like I've never had a feeling where we've lost.
Sub-500s. I can remember some sub-500 teams, and that it's a distant memory. We'll say that.
But it's a different, right? Because then when you're sub-500 within week 10, it's 2-8. It's season's over. Like I've never had that, so that's why I'm very thankful. So and this year with this roster. Man, we ain't.
I'm pumped.
There is 10 plus. It's 10 plus wins. You took Queen, Wilson, give him some credit. The running back gives them some credit. Najee checking in. Everyone, they're checking in. They're all thinking about, okay, if I do my part and Jones does his part and Father does his part and Frazier his part, everyone checks in. Next minute, you've got a good team. And that's why we've been very successful.
Yeah, and they seem to be all on the same page, fighting for the same thing, and that's all you can ask for, and that's where I get that feeling from. So, see what happens.
All right, a few more questions, and we'll get out of it. I know I said that 10 minutes ago. What about Pat P? I wouldn't mind Pat P coming back. What about that? If he's a veteran guy back there, are you okay with it?
I can live with it or live without it. It
Yeah.
wouldn't matter to me either way, to be honest with you. But it'd have to be cheap.
Yeah, if it happens, it happens, right? So
Yeah.
could be a possibility. We don't know what's going to happen in the next few days. Any other questions? And no more questions. I think we're done. That's it. Here's one. One more. I think.
I've seen that one. I got an answer.
Yeah, what's yours?
I say he breaks the sack record this year. And I say that because I have a reason. Because I think the inside linebacking core is going to be very dominant, and they're going to be real nasty. And I think they're just going to create opportunities and take some eyes away from TJ. And I think that maybe also the corners could be very physical and rough on the edges, to where that takes some eyes off of TJ, to where maybe he gets a little bit more opportunity where maybe he wouldn't in other years.
I think that season was so special that he should have broken it with that Lamar
He should
one.
have. He did break it.
That's
eyes.
a joke. That was a joke because they called him a running back because it hit the ball, hit the turf, and in the rule is he became a running back.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
they admitted to him after the fact that it was a sack. After they replayed it,
the thing was though, in that scenario, when the ball hits the turf, then you pick up and throw it, you're a quarterback. So the refs took that away. They legitimately took that away from TJ Watt. He should have been. There could be no whole other show, but the NFL doesn't like TJ Watt. They just don't like the way he is.
It's very odd, and
and it's obvious. It's obvious too. It's very obvious. They don't like him in that how he is. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you could call holding in the NFL on every single play, no doubt about it. But he gets choked the hell out, dude. I mean, come on. I mean, they got him around his neck, like you're dragging him down. Like, come on, it's crazy, you know.
He's all over the shop. Only one says over under is 8.5. I think the Steelers go over the 10. That's up to you guys to bet and whatnot. But I think they're going to win 10 games for minimum. I think as well. Kevin Promise says is Peyton Wilson the second coming of Jack Lamb. A lot of comments like that. We've been talking about that for sure. Thank you, Kevin, as well. And last but not least, we have Toddy broke the record and 25. Yeah. I got to get out of there, guys. There's too many questions, but yes, I agree. He should have won. He should. There's no way that Garrett should have won that.
No doubt.
There's no way. TJ Watt. Everyone knew that the NFL had some scheme and idea to promote Garrett that year to push him into winning the Defensive Player of the Year.
It was his time. They said it was his time. Yeah, bullshit.
Everybody knew that TJ Watt had won that Defensive Player. If anyone they should have given it to would have been, honestly, I wouldn't have been mad at this. Is they would have given it to the Cowboys cornerback Deron Bland. He got 6 interceptions to the house. That's pretty fucking crazy.
I've been down for that.
I'm okay with that.
Than a guy who didn't get a sack in his final 7 games. Nick Herbig, who plays 3 snaps a game, had more sacks than him.
Like I'm okay with a bloke who got 6 TDs to the house for the NFL record. That is like that doesn't happen. That's pretty crazy.
Too. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I know people will disagree with this, but I think it was one of the linebackers, Seattle linebacker. I can't remember his name. Is it Wagner or someone like that? He got 145 tackles or 150 tackles. Give that guy the defense. Like, this is something where it's work-based, not just like, I'm Myles Garrett on this.
Yeah.
Oh, now, okay. That's too many tangents. We'll get out of here. Thank you, Jason, mate. Much appreciated, man. It was a good, fun time. I'll get you on again for sure. Go check out Mic Drop Sports. It's in the link as well. I will try and put it in, the description. Should be all sweet. But thank you for everyone's time. An hour and 20 minutes. That means we're pumped up. That means now I'm back on the train. I'm starting the car again. I was a bit down. I was like, I'm a bit over it. But now I'm keen as well to keep going. So thank you for everyone for coming into the chat. And any final things you want to plug there, Jason, your channel and stuff like that?
No. Hey, I appreciate you for having me on. Come over and watch us at Mic Drop Sports anytime. We go live every day. Just like, stop through. Join the conversation. So we'll be there 6:30 every day.
Every single day.
Pretty much. Yep.
The guy's nuts.
Well, except for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you know what? You know what Mike Tom would say about you? He'd say this.
Coach Stumlin, let's go for the win, man.
That's
my
man.
You, every day. I'm fucking working. All right, guys. I'll see you later.
One after the next 2. Is he still aggressive?
Yeah, what do they call him? The con artist? I like that.